Our guest today is Lyn Rigby, whose son Lee was murdered in a truly shocking crime almost 11 years ago. It was the 22nd of May 2013. 25-year-old Fusilier Lee Rigby was walking near his barracks in south-east London when he was killed in broad daylight in a horrifying terrorist attack. It was a murder that shocked the nation. Killers Michael Adebolajo and Michael Adebowale were later sentenced to life imprisonment. Today, on the eve of the anniversary of Lee's death, his mum Lyn joins us to talk about her son's legacy. Welcome to the show, Lyn.
Thank you. You invited me back again.
So it's 11 years tomorrow since, what was indescribable death of your son.
Yeah.
What do you usually do on that day?
We go up to the crematorium and then we lay flowers with Lee, and then we'll either get all the family together and we'll go for a nice meal, or but now all the kids have all left home now. There's only myself and Ian left, so they're scattered all over, so it's hard to get us all together now and again, so it's...
So is it going to feel quite different tomorrow for you?
Well, yeah, it will. It'll be just us two. Well, luckily I've got one of my daughters down with us that's looking after the dogs while I'm here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think it's nice because you're, by coming on shows like this, you're talking about Lee, the son, Lee, the brother, and, that legacy isn't about how he passed away. It's about who he was when he was here and the man that you knew and loved.
Well, that's it. I've always said I don't want Lee to be remembered as the murdered soldier of Woolwich. I want Lee to remember that he was a son and a brother and an uncle and a dad to his little boy, and that's what I've just tried doing for the
Lyn,
last 11 years.
how do you keep him in the... I'm sure that there isn't a day when you don't think about Lee.
I have my own time every single day when I talk to Lee.
You talk to him?
Yeah, I have a big picture, a big photo on my wall.
So is it at the end of the day?
Yeah, when everybody's gone to bed, when I usually go to bed, I usually have about an hour and I just look at his picture, tell him what I've done that day or what we've done, what the family's done, and then, kiss him goodnight and then go to bed.
And you always keep a place at the table for him?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all remember where we were when we saw the news because it was so shocking.
Yeah.
How did you find out? Where were you?
I was going into work at the time, and my daughter Sarah actually phoned me when I got into work. Have I heard about the murdered soldier of Woolwich? And we'd been out shopping, I think, and I'd gone straight to work. So as I've gone into work, it was like a call centre I worked at. So obviously they have big TVs in the canteen, and at that time they were showing everything, and I actually watched Lee being murdered. And
oh my goodness!
And you had no idea. Nobody contacted you. I suppose even the powers that be didn't know who it was.
It was murdered at like the 2 o'clock, and we didn't find out till 12 hours later that it was Lee. But we had an inkling it was Lee because of the boots and the hoodie, and nobody could get hold of him. We were all phoning frantically to get hold of him and no one could get hold of him. And then, obviously, his phone just, turned off.
You've paid tribute to the women that you've called the Angels of Woolwich. This is Ingrid, Tina and Amanda, who rushed to Lee's aid, comforted him, became very practical and logistical in a time of absolute trauma. I think when we see these heinous crimes in the news or they directly affect us, one of the best pieces of advice that someone gave me was look for the helpers because they're always there. Yeah. And I think how you've really celebrated these women reminds me of that.
Yeah, I've met them, the two angels that sat with Lee, which I'll be eternally grateful for, because I couldn't be there with Lee. I couldn't say, I love you, Lee, goodbye, Lee, hold his hand or give him one last hug. I couldn't do it, I wasn't there. And I was glad that them two was there, just to hold on to him
As
and
women
give
and
him a bit
mothers.
of love. And she was a mum herself, you
Yeah.
know, so she understood. And then Tina and Michelle, that was first on the scene.
Astonishing,
Sadly,
isn't it?
Tina passed away last year. You
Right.
know,
But how they ran into what was,
Yeah.
you know, a zone of danger.
Yeah,
And you've
that's
spoken in the past, you know, how quite understandably you fell apart. I mean, you were sort of crying on Lee's grave at midnight in the pouring rain. What was it eventually that pulled you through?
The kids, my 4 girls, really, and Ian, you know. They'd already lost a brother, you know, and they all doted on Lee. He was such a lovable, happy chappy, you know, he had an heart of gold. Put anybody first before himself. And, you know, it was the kids, what you're doing, Lyn, that was the deepest, darkest moment I've ever been in. And I just had to pick myself up and...
Lyn, you spoke about the angels that were helping you, that understood. You've set up a foundation to help other bereaved military families. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, we now have 3 caravans now. We got another 2 this year that was donated by a lovely lady. She approached us, said, I'd like to help, I want to buy you a caravan. And so we went to meet this lady and she said, oh, I bought you this caravan, you know, to use for the bereaved families. I said, thank you. And then she phoned me the next day. She said, Susan and Billy. And she said, I thought that caravan would be a bit lonely, so I bought you another one. And I thought, wow.
So these are caravans that
are on a park holiday resort.
So people who've lost...
all bereaved military families
That's
can
great.
go there.
Some respite.
Veterans and that, because we never got it because we was in the public eye that much. We was never allowed to get together sort of thing, you know, and just go away and grieve or whatever, you know. And so that's what we do now. We have the 3 caravans and then we just put families and...
Well, it's so good to be helping others out of, you know, what is undeniably
Well, that's
an
what
awful,
Lee would have
awful
wanted me to do,
tragedy.
because he always felt a lot of love for the bereaved military families.
Well, Lyn, thank you so much for coming to talk to us today about Lee. We really, really appreciate it. Lyn Rigby, everybody.